Welcome back everyone. The iPhone 7 is a phone that came out in 2016, and what I could tell you is that there's been a lot of things that have actually changed with this specific iPhone in this specific year. Now, this is what I'll tell you first of all. I really don't think the iPhone 7 is worth it anymore. I think there's a lot of other devices out there that are, technically worth the more money in my opinion. But with these iPhones, they're still supported with software. They still have some capability. And to be honest, I'm still a fan of them for the most part. I think the 7 and 7 Plus are great iPhones. They mean a lot to Apple. They were the last iPhones to technically bring a headphone jack or to remove that headphone jack, which is pretty funny. So I think these are great. Now, two of the major things that kind of changed this specific iPhone for this specific year are actually iOS 15 and the new iPhones. Now, the new iPhones, it's not super crazy because, we've already gotten, so many iPhones since this iPhone's been released. So it's not like this iPhone really changed too much in the price tag. And that's kind of what I've seen with a lot of these older iPhones. They don't really hit a different price tag once a new iPhone comes out. So they may have gone down like $20 or something, but for the most part, they're still pretty much the same price. But a big thing to keep in mind with the iPhone 7 is the fact that this phone is still supported with software with iOS 15. Now, I've pretty much installed every single iOS 15 version on this phone, the betas, everything like that. And for the most part, like I've mentioned before, it was a pretty interesting experience. I was expecting a worse experience on my iPhone 10s, and I really didn't get it. So I think that's a plus, but I will tell you, if you have an iPhone 7 and you're still lucky enough to be on iOS 14, I would highly recommend staying on iOS 14. I would not recommend going up to iOS 15 just yet. I do understand that it's supposed to be, more featureful and all those things, but you are in a much better situation if you stick with iOS 14 than on iOS 15, in my opinion. So that pretty much covers it up in the software standpoint. Like I mentioned, I installed all the betas. It's definitely going to get better over time, but it's definitely not good right now, in my opinion. Now, another big thing is pretty much with the performance. Now, with this specific iPhone, I can tell you, it's still surprisingly a pretty good performing iPhone, and this is what's so shocking about it, is that if you were to buy this iPhone today, for a home button device that came out 5 years ago, over 5 years at this point, it's actually a pretty decent performing iPhone. And that's something that still kind of shocks me. Again, I think my expectations are very low. So it's not like this thing is, insanely powerful or anything like that. It's not competing with the iPhone 10s even, but this is a pretty good performing phone for the price tag, and I'm actually really happy with this type of performance. Now, I wish it was faster, I wish it had a gesture-based design, but when I do jailbreak my iPhone 7s or any iPhone, even like an iPhone 5S, and I put a gesture-based design on it, with Gestures 10s, it's pretty crazy to see how good of a performing phone those specific devices are. So definitely what I will tell you is that how the iPhone 7 holds up in the later part of 2021 is kind of how it holds up in the later part of 2020 and the later part of 2019, in my opinion. This device is technically still worth it in my opinion, but I just think because we're kind of towards the end of its life cycle, it's definitely not going to be getting like the next 3 versions of software. It's only going to be getting iOS 16 in my opinion. You're probably in a better situation if you go up to something like an iPhone 10, like I've mentioned before, even an iPhone 8, maybe a little bit better for you in here and there. But I think ultimately you're going to be in a better situation if you go ahead and stick with something like an iPhone 10 at the bare minimum, and then pretty much, go from there. I would not recommend getting an iPhone 7 right now, but if you happen to still have one, or if you need to go pick one up for some reason, then I guess it's not a bad device. It could be worse. So in terms of that, that's pretty much how this phone holds up in the later part of 2021. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.